Here we're going to call the board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? Here. Here.
Trustee Sapp here. Trustee Williams absent with notice.
Okay. All right, I'll ask for item number 3. I'll ask for the approval of the journal proceedings for the. Okay, well, sorry. I'll ask for a motion to recess to close executive session for reviewing of the executive session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Coleman, second by Trustee Johnson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson. Yes. Trustee Sapp. Yes. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burns. Yes.
Motion carried. We're going to go to executive session for review of the minutes. We'll be right back. I'll ask for a motion to reconvene to the regular board meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Coleman.
Here.
Trustee Johnson. Here. Trustee Sapp. Here. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burns. Here. Trustee Carter.
Motion carried. Approval of the minutes. I'll ask for a motion to approve the journal proceedings of the committee meeting that was held on August 15, 2023.
So
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Is there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson? Yes. Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Motion carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve and release the executive session minutes for May 23rd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Abstain.
Trustee Johnson? Yes. Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Williams? Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Motion carried. I'll ask to approve and to release the executive board minutes for July 18th, 2023.
So
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
moved. Trustee Coleman?
Abstain.
Trustee Johnson? Yes. Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Williams? Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
A motion is carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve and to release the executive session minutes for August 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Johnson? Yes. Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Williams? Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Abstain.
Motion is carried. Okay, public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter concerning the business of the village of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, counter replies, or rebuttals. I will answer all responses after all questions and comments have been made. Please state your name when you come to the podium.
David Smith, resident. All right. Number one is a question. I want to know, when did we start allowing advertisements in the Sauk Talk that aren't either official business or events that are actually being held in the village? Because on this page right here, there's an advertisement for Trustee Burns and her husband's event, which is a paid event at that, and it's not even being held in the village. Why are we allowing private citizens to advertise in our Sauk Talk and we're not making any money off of it, but we have to pay for it? I think that shouldn't be allowed, especially when they get to make money off of it. That just seems kind of unethical to me. And my main concern for coming in tonight, a few weeks back in the board meeting, Trustee Burns sat up here and she lied and she said she turned in all of the money from the June Music Festival. I took it upon myself to FOIA to find out whether or not there was any money or anything turned in, and I found out that no documents exist from any receipts or anything that she turned in from the June event. This to me is theft, and I want to know what's going to be done about this. What can be done about this? She stands up here every week and says, we are trustees, but this document right here shows me that she can't be trusted.
We're not going, excuse me, we're not doing that. Go ahead.
So, again, hundreds of dollars are allegedly missing from the village, and I want to know what's going to be done about this. Here's the proof, and anybody that works in the finance office, they know about this also. What are we going to do about this? Because I hear every week people talking about they gotta follow the money. Well, I followed it. And this is the trail, and it leads right here. So what are we gonna do about this? We need answers. And we don't need any more lies or misdirections. That's it.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees and citizens of Sauk Village. We don't understand.
Hold on just a second. Can you state your name?
David Fields, Senior.
Okay, let the clerk, she'll restart you.
You lost 2 seconds and I want you to.
Okay.
We the undersigned residents of Sauk Village.
My name is.
Excuse me?
She wants you to state your name again.
State your name first. When you state your name, that's when the clock starts.
Okay.
Okay? Try this again.
David Fields. We the undersigned residents of Sauk Village respectfully submit this letter of no confidence into record against Trustee Debbie Williams, Aretha Burns, Diane Sapp, and Arnold Coleman, henceforth to be called the Fraudulent Four. Their constant display of disrespect, name-calling, obscene behavior, and disregard for business decorum at a public meeting have left us with no other resource. Our village is a laughingstock of the south suburbs. We, the residents, are embarrassed by it. We have lost all trust, faith, and confidence in their ability to represent the residents of Sauk Village. We would no longer allow nor accept our hard-earned tax dollars to be misused. The Four have created an atmosphere of hostility, retaliation, and unethical behavior in their short time in office. To us, the residents, they acted that they know everything, talking loudly, but saying nothing. The trustees accepted these positions with their own personal agenda in mind. They established an agenda and premeditated playbook aimed at the mayor, his administration, and targeted employees. The board of no progress at all cost
You have 1 minute.
has carried out their vindictive plan of firing highly qualified black professionals without executing the progressive discipline protocol. They have intentionally delayed, disrupted, and destroyed the upcoming fiscal year budget cycle, financial operations, and all ongoing financial audits to cover up their own incompetency and ignorance of the government process in financial matters. They blame everybody except for themselves. Lastly but not least, I would say to those four, when you get home, look in the mirror and lie to yourself, because we will no longer accept your lies as residents of Sauk Village. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
May I have a copy of that for the record?
Yes. Yes.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Ernestine Blackman. Trustees Debbie Williams and Arnold Coleman, you along with 3 former trustees collaborated and wrongly denied developer Third Park Chicago the opportunity to construct a new and much-needed retail strip mall. Despite receiving the legal recommendation to do this from the Zoning Board of Appeals Commission As a result of this reckless action, Mr. Savard has filed a lawsuit against the village and we taxpayers will no more be on the hook to pay for any damages awarded in a court of law. You four have several occasions have blankly violated the Open Meeting Act and privacy laws by openly naming and shaming employees to be either terminated or to have other actions taken against them with the meeting agenda. You four, on 7 occasions, have had a secret setting meeting. Number 1, planned legislators to halt the normal order of business. Number 2, undermining and discredit the Mayor Burgess, his administrator, and certain village employees. The 4 have been repeatedly warned that all matters concerning personal, past, or current are to be discussed in executive session only and should not be publicly named in the public arena. This warrant action has also placed the village at great risk with several lawsuits and union grievances being filed. Thank you.
As a member of OSAC, I'm sorry. My name is Tony Cooper. Omega Sci-Fi. Okay, as a member. Okay, and.
We can't understand you.
Pardon?
We cannot understand you. You're not speaking clearly.
A member of Omega Sci-Fi.
I'm sorry, can you start over so that you can get the entire time?
Okay, my name is Toby Cooper. As a member of Omega Sci-Fi, I've been in the village as far as 2005. Okay, and my agenda is Debbie Williams. You know, you have been elected to this position as village clerk and trustee, even though she's not here to hear what I've got to say. And your tactics and execution of what you provided for the village is no good, you know. And you along with your inexperienced fellow trustees have repeatedly did no harm to the village. And what I'm understanding is we got to do better. We got to do better as far as the village. I believe in the village. I got 2 properties in the village. All I want to do is uplift the village. I'm not pointing no finger at no one because we all make mistakes. Yeah? All I want to do is do better and bring the village back up like when I first moved here in 05. You hear? I'm not going to read all this and that tactic, point no finger at no one because we make mistakes. And all I want to do is get my fire hydrant replaced. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You guys have a great one.
I am Francine Anderson, and I am completing the letter of no confidence for the fraudulent 4 trustees that sit at this board table, dated today, September 12th, 2023. And I want you to know that we will no longer have the inexperienced fellow trustees that have repeatedly stalled Sauk Village of having sustainable economic growth, of much-needed infrastructure, of attracting and retaining talented and qualified employees across all village departments, and constantly meddling into the day-to-day operations, the relentless harassment of department heads and their employees, and with disrespectful rhetoric, and that's even to citizens, which includes me, and with scandalous accusations blaming the mayor of misappropriating funds, when only trustees can vote out any money. Trustee Williams, Burns, and Sapp, you do realize that very few residents voted for you. And at least the number of votes ever cast in Sauk Village in its 67-year history, which I am repeating myself from a previous meeting, but 33% of us did not vote. No, We chose not to vote at all because of a lack of alternative. That should tell you something. Please stop telling people you have a mandate because you were defaulted into office. Trustees, we do not want you or your legislative council, just like the people of Calumet City did not want you to. We are disgusted that the 3 of the following trustees, including Williams, in the actions against your own people. She never did anything against her own. She's been in office since 2009 to 2017. We have lived in this village long enough to remember when people of color could not work here. How dare you? We do not want your internal auditor or any of your consultants recommended by you or your legislative council, especially one who will be allowed to work remotely without any oversight. Trustee Williams, who is not present, but in your fellow trustees, had a major problem with the same process when the nation was shut down in COVID-19. It is for this reason listed above that we present this formal communication of non-confidence to the trustees Debbie Williams, Aretha Burns, Diane Sapp, and Arnold Coleman. You 4 represent a clear and present danger to all of Sauk Village residents, the remaining 2 board members, and the mayor, and the employees, and the village future has a failure or relentless quest of power and notoriety that is working for no one but you. Mr. Mayor, I would like to present and a copy for the clerk. Mayor Burgess, Madam Clerk.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. I'm Glenda Brown.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Glenda Brown. And my question is, do you think that it's okay for an elected official's spouses to make rude comments and interrupt meetings of the elected officials?
Let me know when I'm ready. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees, fellow citizens of Sauk Village. I'm glad to be here tonight. I am a citizen of Sauk Village.
Your name?
Michael Brown. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am a proud citizen of Sauk Village. I love my town. The last time I was here, I spoke, I said the same thing, and I will repeat it again. I know that this is not a perfect village, and I know we can always do better. But just that being said, I just have to get that out of my system once again and make it known as a citizen of Sauk Village, there is a promise that we can all do to our own village, and that is make a promise and a commitment for all of us to get together. This country is divided enough, and for us, and for the majority of us as black citizens in this village, we don't need that. We need to come together. Okay, to my point. Okay, there's an article in the Southtown, Daily Southtown, about homicides in Sauk Village. Mr. Mayor, what specifically are you going to do to address the increase in crime? Also, lastly, last year, last budget was approved around July. Currently, there are more people in finances than ever before, even when you were trustee. Why is it taking so long to get a new budget appropriation and how can you spend money now if nothing is approved by the trustees? Again, my name is Michael Brown, proud citizen of Sauk Village. I love where I live. I've been here almost 20 years, and I would love for us as residents of the village, for all of us to come together
Again, this country is divided enough, and we don't need any more division. Thank you, and God bless Sauk Village.
I can go ahead. Good evening, Mayor, trustees, department heads. I have a statement.
Name?
Jeffrey Burns, board member. Let's start over. Tell me when. Good evening, my name is Jeffrey Burns, board members, school board, Trustee Burns, husband. Good evening, department heads, and trustees, and mayor. My name was mentioned, so first I have a statement. Okay? Now, there was a document shown. I don't see anything on the document, but I do want to know if that document shows that David Smith turned in his $250 that deposit that he received and not show for July 4th. So I'm interested, is that on the document that he held up? 2, I would like to know who prepares the accounts payable. Because for months, every time I sit in the board meeting, there's 2-3 different accounts payable paid out. I hear the trustees said they received it the same day when they were supposed to receive it on a no later than Sunday evening by 7 o'clock. But they have continuously come in here, received accounts payable the same day, and then you got residents want them to approve it, something that they have not seen. That would definitely show your incompetence. So I would like to know who put that together, accounts payable, because we seeing there's 3 and 2 different ones every board meeting. Who oversees, who sees it before it's given to the trustees the day of? And I'm done. And have a good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board, Trustees, and residents. My name is Larry Sapp. It's just strange to me how people pick and choose which battles they want to fight with regard to the failures in this village. A lot of these things that are occurring or have occurred that's been noted were already in play before any of you four ever sat down. They don't talk about the $10,000 that we know is missing. That's not a problem with some people. So you don't get to lay out your facts and expect to get supported because when people are loyal to a friend over the state of the village, you can really come up here and act like the state of the village is their main concern. It must not be. Raises have been given out, appointments have been made without board approval. But nobody comes up here and talk about that. They want to talk about $250. They want to talk about missing money from the council. The village has been disrupted for the last 6 years. We're in a backlog of now 3 years, and we still haven't had a budget presented to the board for approval. Is that the fault of the trustees or the administration? Or is it anybody's fault at all? We need to stop blaming, and whenever a trustee asks a question about money, that's not an attack, that's their job to find out where this money is. Thank you.
Good evening. organization, because a while back, they keep talking about the trustees. Apparently, they don't know you very well either, Mr. Mayor, because you had mentioned back when you was in our organization a couple of years ago, before you leave out of this mayor position, that you was gonna be a millionaire. With $20,000 a year, how's that gonna happen? And now all I ever hear is money's missing all the time. So somebody need to explain something to me about that. Because you did say that out of your mouth, and I don't mean it. Yeah, y'all can say whatever. Y'all was in that meeting as well, those that's talking. You know, they trying to run these trustees down. Trustee Johnson, what does she do? I haven't seen her done anything yet since she's been here. You got this new trustee up here. He just had an accident or something over near Marathon. I heard about it. You know, come on. Yeah, that's Mr. Harper.
Excuse me, we are not.
It's my floor, so let me finish
No, it's not, we do not. Ms. Favors, we do not.
You didn't say nothing when they were talking about the trustees. But now you want to stop me from talking about this trustee.
That's not, you're talking about his personal business.
Well, they're talking about their business too. They're trustees.
No. Go ahead, finish.
So, let's talk about that. Things that just happened over the weekend. You know, you got trustees up here, you got trustees up trying to help the community, and you got people coming up talking all this mess. It's terrible, Mr. Mayor. You need to get it right. You really do, because they're under your leadership. All this falls behind you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing is getting done right because of you. You're the wrong leadership. That's all I have to say. Y'all have a blessed day.
Who was the right leadership for you?
Not Mr.
We're not going to go back and forth. We're not going to go back and forth. We're not going to do that.
Mr. Charlie stole all that money.
We're not going to go back and forth. Okay.
Mr. Charlie did.
All right, I don't see anyone else, so let me,
Mr. Charlie was a thief. He's still a thief. You
be careful.
About Mr. Charlie. That's bullshit.
Okay, you had a lot of comments, and I won't answer comments. That's what you believe, that's what you feel. But I will answer the definitive comments that were made. As far as there was a comment made, why do we put something in Sauk Talk, or I don't know if it was E-News or whatever, about something that's not village related. If it's not village related, it shouldn't go into a based advertisement that's paid for by the village. I'll put it that way. So I have to look into that. The next item that was not a comment was asking about the budget. Well, the budget, as soon as we get, if we quit doing what we're doing, as you just stated now, everybody wants to fire everybody. How are you going to get someone to put a budget in if you're trying to fire people as soon as they get here? So I'm going to ask one more time. If you're going to comment, please comment outside. If not, I'll ask you to leave. How am I going to, I like this one. What am I going to do about the crime? Only thing I can tell you is crime is everywhere, and it's not just here in Sauk Village. But I do ask that if you see something, say something in your house. If you see something out there and you don't say anything, then what can we do? We can't do anything until after it happens. The police come most times after it happens, but if you see something suspicious, call the non-emergency number. That's what the police are for. They would like to get there before it happens. They don't want to get there and mop up. So if you feel that there's something going on in your neighborhood or your block, call the police. You can do it anonymously. But as far as what am I or any one person can do about crime, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing, no one can do one person. It has to be done collectively. With the back and forth accusations, that's exactly how I treat them, is back and forth accusations. But what I will say is when you point fingers, you got four of them pointing back at you. And when you accuse people of things, be careful what may come back at you. Today, this meeting is a perfect example of why it's hard for us to get anyone into this village to spend money to open a business. Just so you know, and it's too late now, but you have people in here now that want to come into our village and do business. So I've said this over and over and over again. Be careful what you say, be careful what you ask for. It's a shame that we have to do this. I can understand people getting fed up with what's going on because all of this, what we're doing, costs you, taxpayer, money. This is your money you're spending up here for things that are happening, for things that don't happen, for what's going on. When you have to put people in place, you have to put another person to watch another person. That's money. It's not free. Nobody comes to the village to work for free, no one. So I'm just saying, I'm not asking anyone not to express their opinion. That's what you have, that's why everyone has one. But I'm just saying, be careful what you say and be careful of what is being said. And the last thing, and it's, I don't know where it got that from, I'm gonna be a millionaire, really. She would write about one thing. The salary is $20,000 a year. Now, if somebody knows where I can invest $20,000 and get $1 million, please let me know. I would do it. I'm guessing everybody in the room want to do that too. But if you feel that there's money being stolen or whatever, prove it. That's a shame that I have to say that, but prove it. Don't make accusations. Don't say, well, he said this, he's going to be a millionaire. I would love to be a millionaire. But don't just blurt it out there just to have it on record. As far as the accounts payable, a lot of times accounts payable is changed at the last minute. We get bills in at the last minute, or we get something in that says we don't have to pay the bill or whatever. So yes, that's ongoing. Our accounts payable is ongoing. So there's no such thing that, okay, here it is Friday, or Thursday, or Wednesday, we put it together. Friday, something new comes up, we're not supposed to pay that bill because that's it. Sometimes we have to change it, and that's the part of running a corporation or a village. All right. If anyone has anything that's written that there was, I would like to get a copy because I can't write that fast. I did get a copy of the no confidence, but if you had something else, please turn it in today before you leave so we can have that for the record. I'm sure you said it for the record, so please turn it in so we can put it into the record. Okay. Going down to reports of officers, we'll start with the mayor's report.
This is the whole thing. This is the whole thing. Notice of no confidence.
Yeah.
It's all up, I thought it was just
Oh,
which one
okay.
that they're on.
We just had. Okay, does everyone up here should know who Mr. Bentley is? And could you come to the mic and just introduce yourself, sir? I thought maybe you knew, but introduce who you are and what you're here for.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adolphus Al Kendall, and I am a Special Assistant for Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. And I make appearances in all 131 municipalities across Cook County, announcing various programs and activities. And one of the things that I wanted to announce, which you're probably already aware of, is about fair transit. Fair transit was part of our $30 million investment that the President did across principally the Southland to reduce our transportation gap because one of the greatest barriers to employment is transportation, and such that the President on our own invested $30 million to reduce the fares on 352 as well as on Metro. There's nothing one has to do to be avail of those reductions. It's just to ride, because we wanted to make sure that the ridership returned quickly coming out of the pandemic. That was a 3-year pilot, and we want to let everyone know that that service is there. We want to let everyone know also that there is we have a veterans event that's going to be at the Brookville Zoo, so all veterans. On July 2nd and 3rd, there was a large weather event. The President declared an emergency declaration. The President signed it. So there are resources available for residents who feel as if they were impacted, if they had flooding, if they lost things. So therefore FEMA, as well as the Small Business Administration, will reimburse you for those expenditures and those resources. But there is a time limit, and it is October the 16th is the time limit. So I wanted to make sure to make that declaration. If you have any documentation, if you want to apply, be resident and or business. And if you think you do, then don't self-select and tell yourself no. You should meet with them, bring your information, see if you can. They have resources, and we signed this declaration because we want to make sure that the Southland, the residents of Sauk Village get an opportunity to take advantage of whatever we have. And as I have things, I will make sure to share it with you, the mayor, and Tim, my good friend, and your good accountant. So I thank you much for giving me my day in the sun.
Thank you so much for this.
And I have flyers that I'll pass out.
Thank you so much
You
for
can
that.
put the flyers on the table in the back and they can receive them as they're leaving.
That's true.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm looking to retire in 6 years, and I need to make $1 million. I need your help.
Okay. The water's warm, you can come in. Okay. All right, thank you, sir, appreciate it, Al, and as always, give our best to President Preckwinkle.
What is his last name? Al.
Okay.
Katie.
Okay, in regards to the mayor's report, I do have a couple of things I wanted to bring before the board. One is the Bloom Township Cook County Board of Review, the property tax appeal forum. It's going to be held here. It's going to be held again here, September 28th at 6 p.m. This is our time. This is Bloom Township's time. So if you want to come and have your taxes, your property taxes reappraised, there's a time limit throughout the year, and you can't do it all the time at any time you want to, but this is Bloom Township's time to do that. And there will be people here from the commissioner's office that'll be here. I don't know if anyone's done it before, but you can ask to see if your taxes can be repealed. It's amazing that we ask for that, because if your taxes go down, you know what that means. We get less money. So that you understand that. And so this should be at the back, and I would advise everyone that has paying property taxes to at least come and listen. It's going to be a Q&A session, so you can come and listen and then ask questions. And it may be feasible, like I said, it's a crapshoot. It may be feasible for you too, if your taxes went up, to come and see if you can get them lowered, or you might get them increased. So it's just, it can go either way. The second item is the basketball sign-up. The basketball sign-up is going to be September 14th over in the community center. It's been a while since we had a basketball program. This year we're starting that back. So we're going to have a full, hopefully we can get 14 teams like we used to have. And I don't know what days they'll play on, but they'll have the sign-up, then they'll have the tryouts, and then they'll have the selection. But it'll be September 14th at the community center from 5 to 7 p.m. Please come out. And tell the kids, it's all ages up to high school, up including high school. So come out, and if you want to get your child involved in it now, the person that's going to be running is not here, but I'm trying to remember. I know years ago it used to have girls on there along with the boys. And as a matter of fact, some of those girls played better than a lot of those boys. So I think it's going to still be co-ed, but don't quote me on it. Just come out, and this also will be on the back desk in the back. And lastly, I just want to say, I didn't get a chance to say last week, I'd like to thank each and every person that was involved in the corner dog roast and back to school event that was held. It was really, really enjoyable to see everyone come out and have fun. Sit back and relax and just come out and enjoy. The weather was great. We didn't have any rain, thank goodness, and it was not overly warm. But I did like, you know, things that went on, and it was a family atmosphere, and I like that, and I like it. I appreciate everyone that came out to help. We had the junior ROTC that came out and helped us cook and serve and everything. I just want to say thank you to them, thank you to the trustees that came out, thank you to the clerk. Everyone that came out and was involved in that, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your help, and like I said, it was put on very well, and we couldn't have done that without you guys. That being said, trying to think if we have another meeting before IML, but if we don't, please come see me if you need anything, any questions. I'm talking about the trustees now that are going down to IML. Come see me because there's some things that I want to get you to find out if you know or if you have any questions about that. Okay, that being said, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for an opportunity to give a few words. I'm looking at the calendar, and I don't mean to refute what you just said, but according to the calendar, we will have a meeting on the 19th, a committee meeting on the 19th, which is before IML, and I had that on my docket to communicate to the trustees that, and to you, Mr. Mayor, that next week I would like to be on the committee of the whole meeting agenda so that we can go over some of the specifics for IML, especially where their per diem is concerned, the reporting back is concerned in terms of the financial matters, and hopefully they will bring questions and we can just work through all of them collectively, but there will be a presentation on next week's meeting dealing with, specifically with IML, what you can expect, just touching bases to make certain that you have registered for every place that you think that you would want to go. I'm certain that some of you, if you see our village engineer here tonight, you can let her know if you're coming, if you've not done so already, because Robinson Engineer has invited us to a very, very nice event. Well, normally they're always very, very nice, so I wouldn't think that it would be any other way. I want to step back though, and I'm going to go back and talk about the tax review that the mayor has given you quite a bit of information on already. Let's talk about a little of the logistics that's needed as well. This event is open for the entire Bloom Township. It's never filled in here, I'll tell you that. We definitely would love to have you and everyone else here who are homeowners, where you can come and learn more about appealing your taxes and everything. There is a sheet in the back, as the mayor said. You do not have to take it, but if you would just take your phone and there's a QR code there, you could just take a picture of the QR code and that'll take you to their site so that you can register. They need to have an approximate number of people who's going to be in attendance so that they can do what? Prepare for you. So that they can have enough literature for each and every person that's here. And I am really hopeful that each of you who are here who are homeowners, any of your family and your friends throughout all of Bloom Township, you would talk to them and they will be in attendance at this meeting, at this forum. It is a question and answer, but let me share something else with you that they do. If you were to bring a copy of your most recent tax bill and the assessment that came out, they utilize that information and they provide on-site assistance to you so that you don't have to go downtown and or you don't have to go to Chicago Heights for the Bloom Township office. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to figure out how to recoup some of our tax dollars. Because here in the Southland, we pay more in property tax than the majority of the other municipalities around. So you owe that to yourself to come find out how to lower your taxes. I want to share also just a little bit about public comment so that, because so many of you are new to the process, and I tell you, it's wonderful to see the number of you who are coming out now and talking and expressing and letting our trustees and the mayor know what your expectations are. Know though that you only get 3 minutes. And what I did several times today is I either reset the time or I didn't start the time. But generally, your time starts as soon as you open your mouth. So would you do me a favor? When you come up to the mic, look at me. When I give you the nod, say your name. Your name, and then whatever else you have to say is what's of most importance. I mean, it's nice to be cordial, but you know, 10, 15, 20 seconds of saying, hello, Mr. Mayor, hi, Village Clerk, hi, trustees, hi, residents, that's eating into your time. And we want you to be able to express yourself to the for the entire amount of time that's allocated to you. Does that make sense? I see some people raising their head, nodding their head. So going forward, if you say your name first, say hello everybody, and then get into what you're really here to talk about, because that's what we really need. I'm not saying be rude, but you know, this isn't chit-chat time either, okay? So I just wanted to share that piece with you. I wanted to share also with our village trustees and elected officials and those that may be in the audience as well. Southland is getting ready to have its very first meeting with all of the municipalities and the elected officials. And this is sponsored by Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And it's we're calling it a mixer. And I say we because I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And my Q has left the room, but I needed to talk to him too about developing a panhandle group here in the village to support, but that's okay. But here's your opportunity to find out what other municipalities are doing, to network, to partner with other municipalities, as well as the sorority. And as one of the residents say, the only way we're going to be successful is when we start working together and not have all of these little islands all over the place. We got to work together, people. And here's an opportunity, and that's going to take place this coming Thursday at, I believe, 4:30, 5 o'clock. So if you've not registered, I am going to invite you to please do so first thing tomorrow. Mr. Mayor, that completes my report, and thank you for the time.
Okay. Village Treasurer, Mr. Lewis Williams. Is that mic over there? Oh, you got it.
You push the button.
Is it green?
Mr. Williams. Mr.
We
Williams.
good.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor,
Tony Williams.
trustees,
That mic.
Madam Clerk. Just a brief
Timothy.
report tonight.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Hilliard. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Everyone should have received an inbox this evening, basically in terms of the cash balances available to the general fund for corporate spending. There's $2,404,388 available in the general fund for corporate spending. That's my general report. Also, I guess I was appointed interim by the mayor 20 days ago, and I've had the opportunity to review the village's financial records, the ledger, along with also Ms. Kelly Zabinski also reviewed the records. And I understand she did draft a memo for you, and I concur basically what's in her memo. And I know everyone has their concerns about the village's records, the budgets, the bank reconciliations and the like. And those are all things that very much need to be done with them. We submitted a proposal that will be submitted to you at some point where we'll work with Ms. Sabinsky to get the village's records for the current year. Because mind you, we're 4 months into the current year, and there are actually 3 audits that need to be done. And it's necessary. I mean, it's very difficult, I agree, to manage the city without knowing exactly where the city is financially, and also without those 3 audits. Now, the audit for fiscal year 23 is really not due to this thing until the end of October. So we do have time to do that. But now is the time to get those things current. So in my conversations with Ms. Lebinsky and with Ms. Lewis, our approach to this would be, and again, it's up to you to decide, we will receive formal proposals. I know her contract called for internal audit. That's not what you need. Your internal audits are done, but you have internal audits done by the auditors each year that basically, internal controls that are done each year. That's been done. You can read the reports, they're available. Not much has changed, okay? But the bottom line is, Ms. Lewis has been the finance director since May 1st. The problem is that, as Ms. Levinsky, and again, I understand her report was distributed there are things in the fiscal 21, fiscal 22, and fiscal 23 that are not done that she observed that any accountant or CPA could look at, and they basically would make the same observations. So what we recommending and what we agree, again, I haven't received Ms. Levinsky's approval, but basically it was for her to work with Ms. Lewis to get the current year records. And what we would do, my firm, not me, because again, we're going to do it at a rate of $115 an hour, just what the prior consultant said. We have an awful lot of experience in getting these audits current. And we think we can come in and get all this work done, prepare the audit schedules, and you should see basically what we'll do, you'll see reflected, I think, in future years on the reduction of the audit. And really just address all the issues people have about financial statements not being readily available. I would suspect the audits won't be done, because that's a matter of scheduling with the audit firm, but we can get these records done. And I just have one thing to say about these budgets and financial statements. They are necessary for the village to be able to operate. I'm somewhat blind, even being the treasurer and answering your questions, because it's very hard to talk about what's going on this year without knowing that the records for the 3 prior years are accurate. And I know they aren't, and Ms. Zabinski also indicates that they're not accurate. But basically my statement to it all is the good government is good politics. And I understand the politics and everything about it, but I would tell you it's very good politics to have your fiscal house in order. And that means having your audits done, having your bank reconciliations, the issue of money missing and things like that. When you have internal controls in process, those things kind of disappear. And I think we all would agree that good financial records is good government, just as having safe streets and clean streets are. So I hope in the next coming weeks we'll be able to resolve this issue and address all the concerns. I know Trustee Williams at the last meeting expressed lots of concerns about the accuracy of the financial statements and things like that. It's very difficult to be accurate in fiscal 24 when fiscal 23, fiscal 22, and fiscal 21 records are not complete.
With Selden Fox.
I don't think, Tim can address, but I don't think they've done anything.
At the next committee of whole, there will be a presentation that the finance director, the treasurer, and the internal auditor, we met, and I guess I'll let the cat out the bag a little bit, but with their agreement, they were looking to work remotely. Given our state, that isn't going to be feasible for us, and so we are going to put forth a recommendation to go another route to get those bank reconciliations and those major accounts prepared for the audit, and that's what they were proposing. There isn't an executed agreement, so there'd be no fiscal constraints that would prevent us from going in another direction, but we'll have a presentation for the board at the next committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the treasurer, Mr. Williams, you gestured as if you had a copy of a report from the auditor. Is that?
I mean, I'm just looking at numbers that's provided to me.
Is that a report from the auditor, or?
It's a memo from
Ms.
Kelly Zabinski.
Okay.
Basically, it's her observations, I guess, when she came in, and I did meet with her.
Okay. For the Board of Authorities, well, at least I don't have a copy of it. Is it okay that, could you email me or make a copy of that tonight?
I got a hard copy of it. I assumed you had it because she addressed it.
No, I don't.
No, we don't. You talking about this?
No. The report that you got from Kelly.
She did a memo.
The memo. Okay. Because I don't have one, and I'd like to have a copy.
I didn't get it.
The only reason I assumed you had it because she addressed it to you, so I assumed. But I don't, I don't see the problem sharing this with anybody. It's public information.
Thank you.
The village, Mayor, the village clerk would normally receive a copy of your report by 10 o'clock on Friday preceding the meeting. So I would need a copy for the records if you don't mind.
This is her report, not mine.
Well, you know, I've seen her once in my life, sir. So you're giving the report. Wow. So if you all are meeting, if you can just,
no problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Corporate Counsel, Ansel and Glink. Mark?
Hi, I'm glad to be with everyone tonight. I don't have any report outside of the
specific matters that are on the agenda. If there are questions or clarifications needed, I can address those as those individual items come up. Otherwise, it's good to see everybody again. I think I was last here early in the summer, so greetings, and I guess we'll talk later during the meeting as he wants. But I have otherwise no report.
Okay. Village engineer, Melanie Arnold for Robinson Engineering.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, and Board of Trustees. I just have one item to go over with you tonight, and that is something we discussed at last week's Committee of the Whole meeting. Tonight on the agenda, I'm requesting board approval of the ordinance that would allow the village to enter into an agreement with Corrosion Illinois Network, otherwise known as CIN. This agreement would allow CIN to complete inspections of the village's 2 elevated storage tanks and the ground storage reservoir tank. CIN would be providing internal, external, and foundation tank inspections at no cost to the village in exchange for the village's agreement to utilize CIN certified contractors at the time the tanks are rehabilitated. As we discussed last week, tank rehabilitation projects would be publicly bid, and pre-qualification for potential bidders to have their CIN certification would be included in the bid documents. The reports that would be generated by these inspections could be used as the basis of design for future tank recoding and rehabilitation projects. This would be a proactive way for the village to understand the current conditions of the water storage facilities and be able to effectively plan and budget for the necessary maintenance in the future. This agreement has previously been reviewed by the village's attorney, and upon approval of the ordinance and the subsequent signing of the agreement by the mayor, I will be able to move forward with scheduling the inspections. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have at this time about that agreement.
To make that clear to everybody, talking about the trustees, that's the resolution for the Corrosion Illinois Network. You said CIN, just want to make sure.
Yes.
This is not on here as CIN, it's on here as Corrosion Illinois Network, LLC.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All righty.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, reports of departments. Police Department, Chief Malcolm White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Village Board. Tonight's meeting report from the Police Department, the calls for service report between the dates of August 29th and tonight. The Police Department responded to more than 428 calls for service. During that same period, officers made 24 arrests. We do have an investigation going, but and I have given, well, I've submitted a press release to the village board, and I will read it tonight. However, the perception, just because someone says it, doesn't mean that it's actually true. To say that crime is spiking or crime is going up, that's very inaccurate. Even throughout the south suburbs, we do live in close proximity to a large metropolitan city, and being a suburb of that, oftentimes you have certain crimes that are related to and are problematic in nature, whether it's in the within the Chicagoland area or in the suburbs, whether it's the west suburbs, north suburbs, or south suburbs. What they were referring to was a handful of incidents that happened across several suburbs in the last week. We are part of the Major Crimes Task Force, which means that our detectives assist other suburbs all the time. In fact, we lose a detective weekly assisting other towns with their issues. But with that being said, we do have a current investigation going. The Sauk Village Police Department is investigating a shooting that occurred in the 2500 block of 222nd Place. September 9th at approximately 1:26 in the afternoon, Sauk Village police officers responded to a call for service where there were 2 gunshot victims. The first victim was a 16-year-old young man from Linwood who was rushed to St. Margaret's Hospital in Dyer, Indiana, and was subsequently airlifted to the University of Chicago Hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. The second victim was also a 17-year-old juvenile from Linwood who was rushed to St. Francis Hospital, St. Francis Health in Munster, Indiana, where he was treated for his injuries and released. The South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, of which we're a member of, are assisting our detectives in the investigation. The preliminary investigation has determined that this is an isolated incident with no ongoing danger to the public. Anyone with information about the incident should contact the Sauk Village Police Department Crime Tip Hotline at 708-475-3679. That's 708-475-3679. This is an active and open investigation. Further information concerning this incident will be released as the investigation progresses. One thing I would like to say, I know that we live in an age of social media where everybody wants to hear what's going on yesterday. But anytime any agency, especially law enforcement, is conducting an investigation, there are certain things that we have to control information. There is more information to come out, but as our investigation progresses, we don't want to give certain people or targets of investigations a head start, a heads up, or any type of room or way out of the investigation by letting all of the information concerning the investigation be publicly known. These are things that I do speak about at our monthly Chat with the Chief meetings, which I'll also remind everyone is the third Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. here in the Rotunda. It is about neighbors helping neighbors. It's about the police helping the community as we are all one. And the crime prevention information that you receive at these meetings resembles what the mayor had spoke about earlier, where as a community we can move forward together, we can prevent crimes, and that's our target here in Sauk Village. So, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Village Board, that completes my report.
Thank you.
Question.
Trustee Coleman?
Good evening, Chief White. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you.
All right. As you well know, we're behind on our budget significantly, but your portion of the budget, are you ready with your portion?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what do you mean my portion of the budget?
Well, okay. My understanding is that you...
Are you looking for a budget proposal?
No, I'm asking you...
That's what that means.
No.
Are you looking for a budget proposal? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm asking for your portion of the budget.
The proposal.
Has it been submitted to Finance Department yet?
I can direct that to the village administrator. However, we meet the department heads with them and the finance director to finalize these things. So whether it's been, the way it's coordinated is once we meet and we submit it, then once it's submitted, then it gets submitted to the board. Once we collaborate the overall budget itself. So each department head submits a proposal and then we all discuss it. We all work towards the same goal to get the village moving in the same direction.
Okay, so I guess what
so budget proposal. I think that's what you're referring to. Yes, the proposal is.
So your proposal
working. Yes.
Oh, you work. So
it's always going to be a work in progress because the numbers are a work in progress. Until it's actually submitted before the board, it continues to be a work in progress.
Okay, so my question, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is I want to make sure that we can get all our ducks in a row ready, okay? So we're behind now, and I'm just trying to determine who's ready. I mean, is your department ready? You say it's not ready, or just a minute?
So, having worked here for the last 5 years and having worked for other municipalities, quite frankly, what happens is, and this is every municipality, you're given a date, there'll be a budget presentation by each department. And then once that presentation is done, the board will have a full grasp of what's going on. So it's not an issue of, because you have to remember, this is a budget of a whole. It's not just one department's budget. Ultimately, my budget affects his budget. My budget affects that budget. That's why it has to be coordinated all at once. Well, and so that's, that's part of it. Now, keep in mind, in past years, which was very foreign to me, unfortunately, we've been approving budgets in the fall when they're supposed to be approved by May 1st.
Okay.
So again, this is something where, because you're so past that fiscal year, for us to make a statement, I think it goes well beyond our fiduciary responsibility, because anything that I would say would be less than accurate right now, because there has not been a budget presentation. But I'm always ready to put on a budget, because we schedule our budget throughout the year. So we start planning during this year for next year.
So I guess what I'm trying to say, if the budget was ready today, would your portion be in there?
Everyone's portion would be in there, because we would do a budget presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
That was clear?
Not clear.
Okay.
Not clearly, but
It'll be clear once we do the budget presentation. You'll see where it all kind of ties in. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, the Fire Department Chief Stephen Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees. For the period of August 22nd through September 11th, the Sauk Village Fire Department has responded to 129 calls for service. I have one quick thing, and October is quickly approaching, which means Fire Prevention Week is almost upon us. The National Fire Prevention Week is observed in the United States and in Canada during the week from Sunday to Saturday, in which October 9th falls. In the United States, the first presidential proclamation of Fire Prevention Week was made in 1925 by President Calvin Coolidge. The Fire Prevention Week is pretty much surrounded by the Great Chicago Fire. And this year, Fire Prevention Week the campaign for this year is Cooking Safety Starts With You. So we just want to make sure that the police department know how to cook properly so that we can stop going over there for fire alarms. The Sauk Village Fire Department will be in the schools talking with our kids throughout this week, after which we'll be hosting our annual open house on October 14th to conclude this week. And we will have our annual chili cook-off, which for some reason I always win. I don't know what the case is with that. And we will have a lot of prizes and giveaways. More information will follow, and we hope to see you all there. As always, stay safe and God bless. And this concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, and Board of Trustees.
Question?
The date of the cook-off is going to be October 14th.
Question?
Trustee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief Barrett? Chief Barrett.
Yes, Trustee Coleman.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you.
Oh, come on.
All right, your portion, the reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I'm asking is that both budgets are, the police department and the fire department have very large portions of the overall budget. Okay. I understand we're behind, and the question is are you ready with your portion of the budget to submit it to the finance department?
So my answer to that is going to be the same as the police chief,
which is
we always ready.
Okay, so you're ready.
We always ready because we start now.
Excellent.
For next year.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I don't understand, Trustee, you're asking the questions about, are they ready? It's the matter of fact, we have to be, I mean, they're always ready. The department is always ready to go before the board to present their budgets. So it's just a matter of us getting it started and done. Finance Department Director Renee Lewis.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees. So I had a report, but I just want to speak on something else. Trustee Coleman, you was in the Finance Committee meeting when we stated our schedule for the budgets. We are meeting with each individual department head and also with the clerk who requested a meeting. And we will be going over the budgets, put them together. The department heads will do a presentation. Our tentative date was October 7th. So that was already discussed in the Finance Committee meeting. Each person would, once again, turn their budgets in to us. We would go over them, me, the village administrator, and also the treasurer. We would come before the board for the approval once the presentations are done. So to ask, are the budgets completed? We're in the process of completing the budget. A budget is one overall. It's not separate individual budgets. It's all one budget.
Do you have your report?
Oh, my report was just that we hired one customer service clerk for the front office, and also the finance department collected $79,500 from September 1st to today.
Wait a minute. From September 1st to the day?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I guess we got that security officer. All right. All right, which part?
From September 1st to September 12th, the finance department has collected $79,539.65 from water for utility bills.
And could you give the copy to?
Yes.
Okay. All right, village administrator, Mr. Timothy Brown.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm sorry, Timothy Williams.
I'm with you, Mayor.
That's why they got the races on it.
I don't know that that's one.
Oh, well, that's you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Clerk, and residents. Mayor and Board of Trustees, you should have my report in front of you. I was going to highlight our new hire. Thank you to the Finance Director for bringing that up. We'll also, before you later, under the presentation of ordinances and resolutions, I'll be requesting approval for an authorization of a professional service agreement by and between Mike Mallon and Associates. He was here at the last Committee of the Whole and did an awesome presentation. He is a decorated, well-accomplished retail and commercial developer. He presented a plan to get us a grocery store here in the village. This has been a long time coming and a priority for the mayor, and so we have an opportunity before us to work with someone who has great success in this arena, who will be able to put forth a feasibility plan and a plan to go ahead and implement that by working with different developers or different end users to hopefully bring a grocery store to the village of Sauk Village. You also at the last committee meeting, and before you at the last committee meeting, there was a request to have a list of the Southland, South Suburban and Southland developments and grocery stores that he has worked with. And in your package, you should see an extensive list of successful projects that he's completed in the Southland. There's also an agreement before you to work with, to approve a creative services project agreement between Sauk Village and Avidity Technologies. Mr. Mark Hall and Marianne Thornton are here in the office, in the audience here. If there are any questions, and I'm sorry I was remiss, Mr. Mike Mallon is here as well, if there are any additional questions that you may have for him as well. But Avidity Technologies, they put forth a competitive proposal to update our website and to create a user-friendly experience that will help us move forward with making sure we get good and timely information to our residents. And so I'm excited for approval on those two items if the board so chooses. that completes my report.
Do you want to expunge on your, I guess it was the meeting we had with the Old Plank Trail project?
Yes, happy to announce, and actually I'm going to defer to Ms. Arnold, that we will be looking forward in the coming days. We should get an award notification from the ITAP committee, who is a SDP fund, a surface transportation project funding, in which we'll have 100% funding for the phase 1 engineering study to complete a multimodal trail that extends from Chicago Heights on the west terminus going all the way to Dyer, Indiana. I'm sorry, to Cherville on the east end. And so we had a great meeting here last Thursday, I believe it was, in which we had representatives from SSMMA. The mayor participated in that meeting. Ms. Melanie Arnold from Robinson Engineering participated, in which we had our project manager, Civil Tech, who led a partnership meeting with SSMMA, with Cook County Forest Preserves, with representatives from Chicago Heights, from Dyer. No, Dyer was not here. We had Cherville, Chicago Heights, Cook County, and IDOT was here, Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways. So it was a great meeting in which we talked about the pending community awareness event that is going to be coming forward on, I'm sorry, I don't have that date in front of me. I think it's October, it's the end of October, in which we will be doing a community meeting in which they'll be back to give more information to the public about this exciting project.
And it's also going to be a bike path.
Correct.
It's going to be going between all communities, and we also ask that that bike path be illuminated, especially in Sauk Village, that is illuminated. I don't want to see the cars going out streets that don't have street lights. So that's something that I did bring up at that meeting, but this has been going. This is the Old Plank Trail. This was years ago. It started and then it stopped for funding, and also with some of the vendors. This is before I became mayor. This was put on. Now it was brought back, and the county said they were going to be the forerunners. In other words, it's 100% funded, and the bills will go to them. So there's something that I think we need. It will connect. And if I'm not certain, I think it goes all the way from Matson all the way to Cherville. So that'll be something that'll really enhance the south suburbs. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's going to connect the Old Plank Trail to the Pensy Greenway. Right. So they are going to utilize the rotunda to have the public information meeting. It's going to be, like I said, end of October, and they're going to publicize it, but it will be an open house and just an opportunity for members not only of Sauk Village, but of all the municipalities that will be part of the project to come out and learn more about it and have questions answered. But yes, Linwood. As Timothy was saying, they just announced at that meeting that they were given $600,000 for the phase 1 engineering services. So they're wrapping up the phase 2 engineering services. They're wrapping up the feasibility study right now, and then that's what these meetings are about, kind of just a wrap up, and an open house, finishing up phase 1 and then moving into the phase 2 engineering.
Thank you. Well, just come out. All that I can say, and this is something that you can actually be involved in when they do have the, as I call it, town hall meeting. Come out and talk to them and interject your ideas into this. This is their planning stage. So right now would be a time to say, okay, what about this or what about that? You never know. You may ask a question that nobody thought of, and so, oh yes, let's try that too. All righty. Our Public Works Director, Anthony Hilliard.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk, trustees, and residents. I do have a report for tonight. I was unable to print because I had some IT problems, but I'm getting those rectified.
Thank you. Why are you looking at the clerk?
Deadlines. As of September 12, Public Work has worked on 53 number of residential appointments, 2 replacement and repairs of street lights, 21 meters and readings, 41 numbers of shut-offs of water, 1 sewer jet clean out. We perform water samples, water testing. We have picked up branches, trees falling from the storm. We help set up for the community yard sale at the village. We cut grass throughout the village. We're working with the water department on the billing. We worked on 2 vehicles from Public Works, as well as starting patches and road repairs for the winter. And that concludes my report for tonight.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, Trustee.
No question for Mr. Hilliard. But item E, community development, is there a report for that?
There is no one in that position right now.
Okay, thank you.
Reports of standing committees and trustee comments, public health and safety, Trustee Aretha Burns.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, directors, and residents. Thank you. I want to address a few things. Again, because my name was spoken by several people, I want to address those comments. Mr. David Smith did call me a liar, so I want to address that. And I will not address Mr. Smith about calling me a liar again. I brought to this village community unity that this village has not seen in over 30 years. We have more events this summer than this village has seen in over 25 years. That is a beautiful and wonderful thing, and I am proud that I was a part of the board and a part of the community as a resident who was able to bring that unity here. Next year, I believe is going to be so much better. By calling me a liar, I have, as I have stated in the past, I have a stack of information and proof of everything in every single record that I have kept. And I have submitted those records, proposals to Ms. Renee Lewis, the Finance Department, and also to the mayor. I have my receipts of everything that I have done in my 2 events. If you FOIA the Finance Department, and if you did not get what you needed from them, you take that up with the Finance Department, with Ms. Lewis, not with myself. I have my records. Those records were turned into the Finance Department. Why the Finance Department cannot give you that same information that I gave to them and that I also have in my files, I cannot answer. So I will not continuously address Mr. Smith concerning calling me a liar when I have my records sitting right here, and those records were turned over to the Finance Department. Vendors came to the windows, paid their vendor fees, received their receipts. Why the Finance Department does not have copies of the receipts that they gave to the vendors, I cannot answer. And so I will not answer them anymore. That is the Finance Department, Ms. Lewis, Mr. Williams. You speak with them about where the records are, because I have mine and the vendors have theirs. Thank you. The other thing is, Mr. Smith owes our village $250 for stealing money that we so graciously gave to him to show up at the 4th of July event. Thus far, Mr. Williams has not returned the village's money and your money back to this village because he refused, for whatever his reasons are, not to show up. We just heard from the gentleman who admitted that even the President of the United States of America acknowledged that the July 1st and 2nd were weather increment issues. They are even offering funds because of the weather increments and the problem with the weather for July 1st and 2nd. I, as a committee member, had no choice but to postpone the festival because of the weather issues and situations for a few days until the weather cleared, which is what I, as a committee chair, did. I had my committee members contact Mr. Smith. We had several different avenues that we proposed and that we allowed, and we informed the residents of the postponement. Mr. Smith spoke directly to the committee member, Mr. Burns, of the school board, to inform Mr. Smith that the proposal had to be postponed due to inclement weather conditions. Mr. Smith took upon himself, after hearing from me as a chairperson, which he did hear from me, and along with thousands of other residents, because I did a live broadcast, he did contact the chairperson and let the chairperson know that he did receive the messaging that we had to postpone the event due to inclement bad weather. Why Mr. Smith chose not to show up on the proposed date or postponed date to maintain his obligations to the village is beyond me. So we are asking you, and we are expecting Mr. Smith to return the $250 deposit that he was given in order to be a performance and a vendor in our July event. So he owes this village $250 because there was no reason for him not to show up. Anything other than that is thievery, and we have proof that the check was paid out to Mr. David Smith, and the President of the United States had a problem also with inclement weather. Now, if the President knows to postpone or cancel events because of weather, then we also did the same. Now, again, I will not address this anymore. I've addressed it several times. Now, you address it with the Finance Department, Ms. Lewis, or with Mr. Williams. If you need any of their records, they should have their records because I do have mine. Now, secondly, a vote of no confidence. You can have no confidence in me all you want. That does not negate the fact that our audits are not done. That does not negate the facts that we cannot get our funding from the states if our audits are not done. That does not negate the fact that we as trustees are due every financial document, invoices, bank statements, as the treasurer, interim treasurer, Mr. Lewis, stated himself so eloquently this evening, that these documents are imperative that we receive in order for we as trustees to do an adequate job in making sure the finances of this village are spent and dispersed properly. Our own interim treasurer has given you that information tonight, but so many don't want to hear what the interim treasurer has just eloquently spoken concerning our jobs as trustees. And that if we don't obtain those documents, there is no way that we as trustees can do our job sufficiently, appropriately, on time, and adequately. But so many people don't want to hear what the treasurer just spoke tonight. So no vote of confidence. We have been diligently working with the mayor and diligently calling for people with qualifications who understand how to operate the system, which our finance department obviously does not understand how to operate the system. Because if our finance department understood that, our reports would be done. If they understood how to operate the system, our audits would be done. If they understood how to operate the system, we wouldn't be so far behind. There is no way you can tell me or anyone with intelligence that we're this far behind in audits if you understand what it is that you are doing. Even the treasurer just spoke to you tonight and said tonight that we're far behind, and there is no excuse for it except that the finance department does not know what they're doing and does not understand the system in order to get the job done. So the interim treasurer has said he has to bring in adequate help in order to get us moving. Now, what is no confidence about us getting our village moving? What is no confidence about getting our finances in order? What is no confidence about these trustees working with the mayor and working with one another to make sure our village gets where it needs to be? What is no confidence about that? And then they said my name now. You said my name. So I must address it. And Francine said I had low voters turnout. But I am sorry to say that has been the issue with Sauk Village for quite a long time. The mayor, when he got elected, only got elected with 567 votes. So it's not about low voter turnout. It's about getting our residents engaged in the process. It's about getting our residents interested in what's going on in their village. And I, as a trustee, have begun the process. And I, as a trustee, will continue the process. Our voters and our residents will know what's going on in South Village because I, all you want. But I'm getting the job done. And if you want some parts of this, if you want this, then you run for office.
We're not, hold on.
Anyone can run for office.
Trustee.
Anyone can run for office and become a part of the solution. I have the mic.
No, you didn't have the mic.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
Trustee.
You can speak to me, Mayor, when I'm done with the mic.
You're done, right?
You can speak to me
Trustee,
when I'm
I'm
done.
talking to you. I'm talking to you. Would you please listen?
What is
Thank you. First of all, if I keep hearing engagement out there, I'm gonna ask everybody to leave.
I'm not engaged. I'm speaking.
I'm not through.
I wasn't through either. You interrupted me. And see what happens when I'm not through. He interrupted me, but now you want me not to interrupt him.
When I'm trying to ask you politely.
I understand.
Thank you. Would you please acknowledge? That's the problem. You don't want to acknowledge. First of all,
you don't want to acknowledge me. I had the mic. And again, if I could finish, then you
Trustee, no, I'm asking you a question right now.
What's the question, Mayor?
If you let me finish, I'll ask the question.
See, if you let me
your
finish.
Question,
yes.
your comments
yes, Mayor.
should be on your department. If you're going to go back and forth and engage with the audience, that's what you're doing.
Mayor,
you're engaging with the audience.
Mayor, the engage, I am
Just
not.
because you say no doesn't mean that's
I am not engaging with the audience.
Yes, you are. You're calling people's names.
People call my name.
Okay, but that's part of the job.
Okay, and it's part of my job.
No, it's not.
Part of my job to acknowledge my job. Okay, I am acknowledging my job as a committee member. I'm acknowledging my job as a resident. So I am acknowledging my job. I'm commenting about my job.
Yeah, well,
so the bottom line is I am acknowledging my job. I can speak on my job all day long, and the residents need to hear what my job is. If anyone is trying to say I'm not doing my job, it is my responsibility to let the residents know I am doing my job, and to stop the mouths of the gainsayers who saying I'm not doing my job. So I have to defend the fact as a trustee that I am definitely doing my job. And I'm never going to sit still and let anyone, I'm never going to stop talking when it's my turn to talk, when it is my turn to talk, to defend my elected position, to defend what I'm doing as a trustee.
Excuse me, just say, why are you all standing? I'm just asking, why are you standing?
For me, she mentioned my name, so I want her to understand it. I understand how you are.
Okay, well, I'm asking this side here, why are you guys standing?
She stood first.
No, we don't have people standing in the audience, no.
The young lady, the first person that I acknowledged standing was the one in the Francine in the burgundy shirt.
We don't have people standing in the audience.
She started the standing.
You're standing over people, and that's not what we do. We don't do that.
She stood first. She caused the standing to begin. She caused the standing. Again, I'm not addressing you, ma'am. I'm addressing my job.
You addressing?
I'm addressing. Get your audience under control, please, because this audience over here is out of order. I am speaking.
Would you please finish your comment?
Thank you, ma'am.
Please finish your comment.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the mayor has given me permission to continue.
I've asked you to please finish.
Yes. So to continue, I have also heard, because I am the Public Safe and Healthy Committee Chair, that there are fire hydrants that still are not fixed.
What's it got? Oh my God! You should tell them.
So we are focusing on the things of this village that need to be repaired, that need to be fixed.
What's the problem out there?
She threatened. She threatened.
Okay.
She threatened.
I'm gonna. Well, the chief is there. So that's what happens when you incite. That's called inciting.
That's right.
That's exactly what happened.
Please do. Clear the audience, because if she keeps threatening me, she's the only one saying something. No, I wasn't the only one saying something. I kept my mouth closed.
That's what I'm saying. They don't care.
I didn't make no move. I just stood up.
They don't care about anything to stop it. Okay, Chief, thank you. Could you wrap this, Trustee?
Thank you.
Burns, would you please wrap this up so we can move on?
Thank you. So, again, that is my job. I will state my job. And the people have confidence in the work that we are doing. The mayor also stated that there was a question regarding the public health and safety of our community because of the increased crime. Chief White did express the difference that the crimes could be coming from community surrounding us, as well as some things in our own community. So my question concerning that is, the mayor did say that it would take more than just himself, but it would take all of us to help with the watch. And if you see something or you know something, say something. So what I want to ask the mayor tonight, is there a possibility for us to begin to initiate or to bring back the neighborhood watch program? So since it's all of our responsibility to help our community to be as safe as possible, it would be a wonderful thing for us to reinstitute the neighborhood watch program so we can all be involved in the safety, the health, and the well-being of our citizens for the village of Sauk Village. That concludes my report.
Before I move on, these are supposed to be reports, not incitements, not trying to call anyone out, not trying to incite problems. Now, if you want, next week, I said this last week, I will have a popcorn machine back there. And I can make some money, yes. Well, we can cuss in here. So anyway, I'm hoping that, and also I didn't hear from, when is the next Public Health and Safety Committee meeting? What date and what time?
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Health and Safety meeting had to be moved to the last Friday of the month. I believe that Friday is the 29th of September. So the Public Health and Safety meeting will take place on Friday, September 29th, 7 p.m. in the community center. Thank you, guys.
In the community center?
Yes, sir.
We have to make sure that that community center is available at that time.
Absolutely, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Public Services, Trustee Raven Johnson.
Public Services Committee meeting will be held tomorrow, right here in Rotunda at 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, orders review. Trustee Arnold Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Residents, board, department heads. My next committee meeting will be September 25th, right here at 7 p.m. That's on a Monday. Again, September the 25th at 7 p.m. right here. My August the 28th meeting was called due to a quorum, meaning that I didn't have enough members. Okay. All right. So I am right now taking this time to invite residents to come to the committee, Ordinance Review Committee. This is your village. You know, a lot of people have complaints and they say, you know, there's a saying when somebody has a complaint, there ought to be a law against it. That's a joke, you know. Okay, there ought to be a law against it. Well, there probably is, but we need the residents to come to find out what these laws are. And maybe if you don't like the law, you have the opportunity, you know, to make a recommendation to change the law. There's a saying back in the day, know the law serves you. We need to know the laws and tweak them so that they do serve us. Okay? Hello? Okay. All right, now, and like Trustee Burns, I have to address this no confidence. But what she said enough. And I agree with what she says. We're doing our job, okay? We're doing our job. But I'm gonna take this time and I'm gonna speak from my heart, okay? She did too, I'm sure. But let me speak from my heart. I used to be right where you are. I'm talking to this section over here. No names, but I used to be in the same section just like you, okay? And I came here not knowing. I came here not knowing.
You don't know nothing.
Please.
I came in not knowing, and I came in, I sat in this section, and I was told what I thought I knew. And just like a whole gang of you all came here with scripts in hands, I was given a script too, to say. I didn't know what to complain about. I just came to see what was going on. But all the while I was over in this section, I was told what was going on. Right where you are right now. Okay? But now I'm here on this side. And you know what happens when you get on this side? You find out what the truth really is. You really find out what the truth really is. And then at that point, you have to make a decision whether or not you're going to do what you know to be right, or you're going to continue to go down that path of doing what you are told. And to this day, I got here, or I came here because I answered what I believe is a call. And the call is this here. When righteousness rules, the people rejoice. Ain't nobody rejoicing right now. You know why? Because righteousness is not ruling. We're faced with a real tough task to straighten out some big mess, some mess that's been going on for years, as some of you already know. Most of you have been here longer than I have. You've been in this village a lot longer than I have, so you should know. So you have a lot to complain about, and I don't blame you. But you're not going to keep getting it. You're not going to get any changes until you change. If you want something you never had before, you got to do something you never done before. And what we're doing today as trustees is something that has not been done before. We are going after the truth. We're going to balance the budget. We're going to find out what this village needs. Now, again, We're here, and what you see from this side is a whole lot different from what you are claiming you see from that side.
Why are you trying to say this?
Now, this is from my heart, okay? Now, some of you all may already know the truth, so you have to make a decision whether or not you are going to repent or you're going to change, because I've changed. Once I found out what's going on, I've changed, because I'm on the side of righteousness, which is on the same side of you all. You just don't know
You
it.
don't know the difference between righteousness and unrighteousness.
Mr. Mayor, are you going to control this?
You know what I'm saying? Nothing. You don't say something to me though. You study letting people interrupt.
One more time, sir.
No, for me. What
No,
about
one more time, period. The whole room will be gone. Thank you.
So
you want to play that game? Just play the game.
Okay, let me finish. So in conclusion, I've been where you are. And once you find out what the truth really is, you have to make a decision. Whether you're going to go down the path of righteousness and put this village on the good foot, as they say, or you're going to keep on with what we're having right now. Okay? So, I mean, you have no confidence, you have a vote of no confidence, but I don't believe you know why. Somebody told you we should do a vote of no confidence. But what you really need to know is that we're doing something that needs to be done. It needs to be done. It's unpopular, but it needs to be done. That concludes my report.
Budget, Finance, and Audit Trustee Eugene Carter.
Yeah, Budget Finance, next meeting will be September 26th, 6 o'clock. It'll be held here before the board meeting.
Okay. Ready? Ready?
Yeah, let's conclude my
Okay.
report.
Housing and Intergovernmental Relations, Trustee Diane Sapp.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, residents, and trustees. First of all, I want to thank you 20% for the confidence that you have spoken. If you think that we can wreak this much havoc in 4 months, wait till the year ends. If you think that we can create employment, unemployment, no budget, no grocery store, broken hydrants, dark streets, just to name a few problems that's been plaguing this village for years, yet you think we're responsible? Thank you. The Housing Committee and the Public Safety Committee sponsored a resource fair on Labor Day. We had a very good turnout. Thank you to the families that participated, and that concludes my meeting.
And when's your
October 9th at 7:30. In the community center, yes.
At what time?
7:30.
Okay. Reports of committees and commissions. Senior Advisory Committee, Chairman Emmett Farmer.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees, department heads, and all the village residents. Our report for the Senior Advisory Council for today, Tuesday, September 12th. Our next meeting is this Thursday in the Senior Center at 5 o'clock. Times for game night. We have game night every other week, second and fourth Fridays. From 4 to 8. Come out and enjoy games like Midwest, Marco Domino, and more. This week is Breakfast Bingo. And Breakfast Bingo is every first and third Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Senior Center. Come out and play bingo, enjoy breakfast with us. We do have the Eastern Stars presenting breakfast this Friday. Also, we have changed the days and times for senior and fit to every Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 to 11:30. And the seniors, any seniors 50 and up can come out for exercise class. Contact Carol Coleman for more info. Also, our last casino trip of the year has been moved to Wednesday, September 27th. Cost is $40 per person, which includes transportation, $10 food voucher, $15 slot play. Hurry and reserve the space because seats are filling up fast. You have until September 20th to actually reserve this space. Also, we have a proposed senior sneakers ball, and it's going to be scheduled for Saturday, October 14, 2023, and look out for more details to come. Thank you, and that concludes our report.
Okay. Anything from the Fire and Police Commission?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Chairman Francine Anderson.
Mr. Mayor, trustees, I just wanted to make sure that you were informed that we have extended the date for applications and for candidates for the initial police exam. And our date has changed to be October 14th for the exam.
All right, presentations and ordinances. I'll ask for a motion to approve the resolution approving and authorizing the Community Water Supply Asset Protection Program Agreement by and between the Village of Sauk Village and the Corrosion Illinois Network LLC.
So move.
Second. It's moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter.
Trustee Sapp? No. Trustee Williams? Trustee Burns?
No, pending further discussion.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
No.
Trustee?
Further discussion.
You don't have to answer, just yes or no is okay. You don't have to, it's yes or no. I'm just saying.
I choose to.
But you don't.
Yes.
No, that's it. Where did you do, Barrett? Okay, okay. All right, well then that was voted down. That's for the CIN. Hey, guess they won at the last meeting. All right, that resolution was voted down. We will bring it back because it is something that's dealing with water supply. Anyway, I'll ask for motion for the resolution amending designation of an authorized agent for the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund for the Village of Sauk Village, Cook County, Illinois.
So move.
Second. Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams?
She's not here.
Trustee Burns?
No, pending further discussion.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
No, pending further discussion.
Okay. Robert Rules Board, I've been before, okay? The mayor calls for a motion. You get a first, you get a motion, and then you get a second. Then he calls for discussion. If you have to discuss, that's when you discuss. You don't say further discussion
when it's time for you to vote.
Madam Clerk.
You ain't got to say nothing to me.
Come on.
Just hear what I'm
Madam
saying.
Clerk, listen, first of all, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Johnson.
First of all, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Sapp. I'm waiting for you to vote. Thank you. That motion did not pass.
That motion is not passed. That means we do not have a representative for the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund for the employees here in the village. There is no representative for that. We spoke on this last week, and we do need someone right away, but obviously it didn't happen tonight. Okay, I ask for a motion for a resolution of the Village of Sauk Village for the Village of Sauk Village, Cook County, and Cook County honoring Edward Myers with an honorary street designation. I ask for a motion.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Burns.
No. Any further discussion?
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
No pending further discussion.
Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Sapp. Trustee Williams.
All right, that motion has also failed, and that was discussed last week too. So it's self-explanatory, it won't be that. I'll ask for a motion for a resolution approving and authorizing a professional service agreement by and between the Village of South Village and the Mallon and Associates INC.
So move.
Question. Question.
Wait. Hold on, Jesse. No, we're not going to discuss. I understand what you're going to say. Don't worry about that. We're through with discussion, sir. So, what did you you had a question?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay.
He's second.
Okay. This is a rhetorical question, but do we have a budget?
Yes.
I mean, we don't have a budget. Is that correct?
Do you have a budget? What do you mean?
Okay, we don't have a budget that reflects whether or not we can afford to pay for this feasibility.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Go ahead.
This is a TIF eligible expense. This money has been.
It's not in the budget.
Beg your pardon?
It's not in the budget.
It's not in the budget.
It's being paid by the TIF.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call me.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
No.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Sapp. No. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burns.
No. Any further discussion?
It's been voted down. The agreement, it was just stated that we needed a store, but it was voted down. Okay, resolution approving, I'll ask for a motion for a resolution approving a creative services project between the Village of Sauk Village and Avity Technologies.
So
Second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Coleman.
You don't know which one.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Sapp. No. I'm sorry. No. Thank you. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burns.
No.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
That motion passed. And F, we don't have all of the paperwork done on that one, so I'm not going to even bring it up. Also, new business. I'll ask for a motion to approve the transfers, payroll, and accounts payable distribution.
Mr. Mayor, you skipped.
Did I get I said, did you hear me when I said?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said item F, we don't have all of the documentation back from that, so that's why I skipped that one. On to new business. I'll ask for a motion to approve the transfers, payroll and accounts payable distributions in the combined amount of $724.44, and authorize the finance department to remit payments.
So moved.
Second. Was moved by trustee Johnson and second by trustee Carter. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the accounts payable in the amount of $520,559.44. Moving from the line item. Okay, I've been asked to repeat it, Mr. Mayor. To approve the accounts payable in the amount of $520,559.44, removing line items from line item 10005726000, invoices 2167 through 2184, dated April 21st, 2023 through August 18, 2023, in the total amount of $22,165, respectively.
I have a comment also.
There's an existing motion on the floor, and it's been seconded, so they need to accept that amendment. And if that amendment is not accepted, you vote on the unaltered version. You can probably hear me anyway. And if that motion fails, then the amended motion can be brought. But we did have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So the question would be if the movant accepts the proposed amendment.
Okay. So you mean I would have to ask for that, though, right?
Correct. An amendment's been proposed. So if we're going to, one way or the other, the proposed amendment can be voted upon. It's just procedurally, if the amendment's not accepted, you vote originally on the full amount, $542,724.44. So just a point of
right now, you want to take that off so that we can vote on that part.
Right, so I guess what I'm suggesting is the original movant, an amendment has been proposed, and that original movant can accept the proposed amendment, and then that amended motion is seconded and then voted upon.
All right, so that was your motion. Is there a second to that amended motion?
Does the original movant, I'm sorry, was it Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm new here.
Yeah,
So the question would be if Trustee Johnson accepts the proposed amendment. Okay, then we would call the roll on the entire $542,000 amount, and then if it fails, an amended motion can be brought.
Okay. All right, we'll go back to the original motion, which was for $542,724.44. Madam Clerk.
Trustee Sapp. Trustee Williams. Trustee Burns.
No.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
No.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, that motion failed. So I'll ask for a motion for the amended amount of $520,559.20.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Coleman, second by Trustee Sapp. Any questions for that? Madam Clerk. Yes, Trustee.
I do have a question. There's $542,724.44 that is on this accounts payable. Again, that has been brought before the trustees. It is not our duty to take care of day-to-day operations. There should be a correct accounts payable brought to us if you want us to vote on it. We have just gotten the $22,165.44 correction that we, as the trustees, had to make when that's not our job. We are consistently voting not to pay a vendor, again, who's no longer a vendor, a consultant, an employee, or otherwise. They have no contract in this village. They have been dismissed from this village since April. And they are yet billing our village, your taxpayer dollars, for an employee who does not exist, a position that does not exist, a department that does not exist. And up until now, the month of August, this ghost is still billing our village for services that does not exist. But there's no confidence. We as trustees, I as a trustee, will not continue to vote on an accounts payable if the Ms. Lewis and the finance department keeps putting the accounts payable before us to vote on with wrong numbers. Every 2 weeks, we are changing numbers. Every 2 weeks, it's 3 or 4 different numbers. The mayor doesn't know, the finance department doesn't know, but you want us as trustees to vote on numbers that everyone is confused about. And to vote on accounts payable of a ghost of a vendor that does not exist. So be warned that I, as a trustee, will not be voting on any more accounts payables that does not come from Ms. Lewis and the finance department properly when it gets to our hands. Okay. Other than that, I will not vote on it. Pending further investigation, while every 2 weeks these accounts payables are coming to us with wrong numbers, wrong figures, and we as trustees have to do the work of Ms. Lewis and the finance department when these accounts payables should come to us corrected. It is our responsibility to make sure we're dealing with correct numbers when we receive them, not have to continuously correct numbers 2 or 3 times after they are in our hands. Make your corrections in the finance department before you bring them to this board. Because if the corrections are not correct when they're brought to this board member will not be voting on the finances.
Okay, let's move on to the, Are there other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
You voted on $520,000. $520,559.20.
Trustee Williams, Trustee Burns?
It's a lot of talking, so I couldn't hear what you were saying.
The motion was for $520,559.20. You said 20 cents. Okay, well, you know what it is, then
$520,000.
She's asking you, you voted on it now.
Voting on the amended accounts payable that was brought by Trustee Clerk.
No, it was, no, Trustee Coleman.
Okay, well.
Yes or no?
I want to make sure we have the amount correct.
Okay. So it's
the amount I quoted. This is the amount I quoted. $520,559.44.
Okay.
Okay.
Trustee Burns?
She's asking you for a vote. Yes or no?
With the amended budget that was presented by Trustee Coleman.
I am in agreement.
So is that a yes?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
No.
Trustee Sapp? Yes. Motion
Motion is carried. Have a couple of things that I need to say. You can leave, here you go. Number one, you really won't want to hear that because it makes sense. You guys just voted, the trustees just voted. Yes, we are, that's it. It's comments and general comments. The trustees just voted your village backwards. Just want to say that because we've had a meeting last week and we brought presenters here to try to move things forward. We had our engineers here. We had a person here that's going to try to help us get a store. We had people here that was going to, it was already being taken care of for the Corrosion Illinois Network LLC. All these things were voted down. I don't know where they feel that they can, what that meant. If it's against me, shame on the trustees if it was against me, because I'm just one person. But you put the village in harm's way. We don't have a representative now for the IMRF, which is the retirement fund for not just the current employees, but for ex-employees that were here. You put that in jeopardy.
Don't.
Excuse me. Okay.
Whoa! Okay.
Trustee. So I'm just letting you know, and you had people that were here.
But not me and you, because I have a man.
Trustee, well, let me finish.
And I asked her to change my seat. If I refuse to change my seat, how much more am I supposed to take from these people?
And to keep this up, you may think that you're hurting me, but you're hurting the village. You're hurting the taxpayer. I don't need the clapping. I don't need the clapping. It's the truth. You're hurting the taxpayers with these antics. You talk to these people. That's why you have committee meetings. The committee meetings is so you can ask questions, not vote when I need more information. Some of these things were very, very important for the betterment of this village to move it forward. And to vote no, it doesn't make sense. The campaign the election is 2015. Why in the heck are you campaigning now? 2025, I'm sorry. But I'm just a little upset because now we have to go back to the drawing board. We don't have representation for certain things that we need to have representation for. But you want to come back next week and say, we don't have a budget, we don't have this, and we don't have that, but you voted down. And you think that it's, please, you think that that's cute? This is a village, this is your tax dollars. What you voted down tonight, trustees, is going to cost this village money. It's going to cost a lot of money, maybe some lawsuits in regards to it, but it's going to cost some money. So I'm just letting you know, as the mayor, that it's not cute. This is not something that, oh, well, I'm just going, it's not. This is business. That's why we conduct business. That's why you vote. Not because someone else told you how to. Use your own mind. But to continue to do this, and then you want to come back later on, oh, guess what I did? I'm bringing it back. Bringing it back to what? You brought it down. You voted not to move forward. You have people sitting in the audience that were waiting so they can move things forward. And you voted it down. So you should not, and I'm going on the record, you should not be proud of what you just did tonight. Amen. With that being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Trustee Burns, second by Trustee Coleman. All in favor? Aye. Good night.
we at?
Yeah.